turn of the ting.
I didn't even catch up on that.
There's a lot more puns there than are probably appropriate. We're going to move on, but yeah, Ding Li Ren, if you missed it, did get a victory over Hikaru Nakamura in Armageddon. Praggnanandhaa with white against Hikaru Nakamura. This is an interesting spot, right? Both of these players want to win in Classical just to really keep their chances alive against...
He'll feel he needs to win in the Classical with black, so he's keen for imbalances. Let's, again, go from the start. We see yet another Spanish opening, the Roy Lopez, and this time a bit of a spicy version after bishop a4. Black plays the growing trendy move, bishop to c5, so it can transpose to the Archangel, but black's knight placement is still flexible. You can develop your knight depending on how white reacts. Pawn to c3 and knight g to e7. So actually in the Carlsen Nakamura game from earlier in this event, we saw white in that game castle very quickly. The black knight came to g6, and that led to some complications that actually favoured Hikaru. He'd clearly done his homework better than Carlsen, but here Pragg, who's actually experimented with this variation himself from the black side, I believe, he comes well prepared. d4, we see a trade. The difference between white's king having castled and still being on e1 is that black can now flick in a check. The bishops get traded, and d5 strikes at the white pawn center because, before it becomes too strong, and a trade. And I think big decision for Pragg. This type of position arises in various lines, and it's always a debate whether you should actually capture this knight on c6 while you have the opportunity. If you don't take now, you might never get that chance to double black's pawn structure, but at the same time, that would give black long-term total control over the d5 outpost, and the black bishop does still have some promising squares to jump to later. If I remember correctly from what I've studied, just bishop takes c6 is maybe the way to play for an advantage, but of course, there's other moves that Pragg does take that knight, so he's going to get a better pawn structure. The white d-pawn, not as weak perhaps as black structure, but still a lot of play ahead. It feels like this one is anyone's game. It's a nice open battle.
Very nice, and both of them very well prepared. I wonder who will be the first to start thinking a little bit. I think the fact that Hikaru's clock is running... No, sorry, he's back. I was gonna say, I think he's in the confessional, but maybe he didn't have the time to go just yet. He's clearly leading on our board for the confessional visits, but we're gonna discuss that perhaps a bit later. There's so much going on. Everything is at stake.
Everything's at stake, not just Hikaru Nakamura's confessional dominance. We've got more stats to show you just how much Hikaru Nakamura intended to win the confessional battle, but we'll get into that a little bit later. All right, castles played quickly, and all right, well, we already set the table for what Magnus Carlsen needs to do. Simple story is he wins in Classical, he wins 2020. If he goes to Armageddon, some different things could happen, but let's set the table for these two guys. They both still have chances to be the his bishop's pinned now, so it still works.
But there was king f8 there. King f8, queen f6 is always the... yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But where's the save for black? Was there king h6? No. Really don't think so.
In this position. Wow, bishop e6. How is the bar still in the middle? This is crazy.
Is it f6 and you have king f7 at the end of it?
No, that's not a draw.
No. Oh yeah, you win a6 down. Yeah.
Maybe it is a draw. You take with the king and... No. This is very dubious for black. Was this really the best line for black after rook e4?
No, I think bishop e6 seems to be worse. The engine is giving only bishop takes a2 or queen b5 as the only two that hold.
Queen b5 is hard to spot though.
Okay, so I think Prague is bailing out.
Worried about his clock.
Didn't
Not
go
enough.
for this and instead gave a check on f5.
Strange point to start thinking. Rook takes e8.
And Hikaru is into his... Damn, why couldn't he have played for a win for one more move?
He was one move away from maybe blundering. But it seems likely now. In fact, how does Prague secure the draw with, I guess...
I think knight e3 and queen a5 is really straightforward.
Okay, bishop.
Because also if you put the bishop on e6, queen a5, like, black is not better.
Okay.
I mean, I suspect that's what he's gonna have to do, but there, you put the queen on a5 and the pawn on a3, and there are just no targets. Maybe you go to queen d6, e5. I don't know.
Hikaru looking off, knowing probably final moments of keeping his hopes for a tiebreaker alive going away.
Okay, give me. Okay, I want to check out knight e7 after this. King h7? Yeah, this is pointless.
You're hoping for king f8, queen f6 again.
Yeah.
Just to point out to everyone at home. Checkmate.
Can't get enough of this trick.
But okay, strange point to start thinking unless Prague's offered a draw.
Do you think so? We missed it if it happened.
Yeah.
It's move 31, so it's finally legal to offer a draw.
For white to offer a draw. Why else
It
would
doesn't make any sense for him to accept, by the way. Like, he's not worse anymore. Or anymore. I shouldn't say that he's been worse in a while. I don't think he'll accept. I don't think he'll win the game, but I don't think he'll accept either.
Prague was staring him down for a second, so maybe a question's been asked.
Oh, wow. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Well, congratulations, Magnus. It is official.
Congratulations.
Thanks for being with us all the way to the final stretch. I guess